Hello everyone, thank you for watching our video. This is Jimmy Wu from Prowork Pacific Inc, your licensed architect. If you like our video, please give us a like, and also you may share our video with your friends. And if you want to see our all other videos, you may subscribe our channel so you will not miss our other videos. Today I want to share with you one topic about different zoning. Customer come to ask me, Jimmy, I usually want to buy a house, but when they pick different property, they ask me, Jimmy, should I buy apartment zone to build my house? What is the difference? Okay, so today I want to a little bit explain about between residential zone and apartment zone. First of all, in city Honolulu, in our we so-called land use ordinance, LUO, there's a separate use between, for different purpose, right? For residential, we call our zone. For apartment, there's called apartment zone. Now, in apartment zone, you can also build single family dwelling, house, and also can build duplex, like 2 house detached, and also sure you can build apartment, right? But for our zone, residential zone, you can only build a single family dwelling. Or so if your land is big enough, then you can build 2 detached dwelling. Or even if your land is real big, then you can build maybe 2 separate house, or even more than 2, can be 3 or 4 separate house in one piece of land. Now that depends on the size of your property. Now today I want to also explain about generally for choosing these 2 types of land for building house. Now, not building apartment, because in residential zone you cannot build apartment, right? So that's all. We just want to compare. If you want to build house, do you have advantage, choosing apartment zone, or do you have what advantage you have by building in residential zone? First of all, we talk about setback. For residential zone, usually we have 10 feet setback on the street side. And then on the side yard and rear yard, then you have 5 feet setback. And under the current law of Bill 79, which is effective last year, in 2019, we have this new bill. Now it's called Ordinance 19-3. This is a new bill to have extra requirement about setback when you build house. Now, if you regularly, like I say, if your house, your 4 areas under certain point, then you only need 10 feet in the front, and then 5 feet on the side and 5 at the back. Now, if your house exceeds certain area, then you need to increase. You need to provide more setback. It's 10 feet in the front, 8 feet, 8 feet, and 8 feet. So 8 feet on the side and 8 feet in the back setback. Now, versus if you have apartment zone, then you do not have this problem. The apartment zone always is setback is 10 feet in the front, and then 5 feet on setback, 5 feet on side and 5 feet on the rear setback. Now, only part is that really tricky is if you have a special lot like corner lot. When you have a corner lot, that means there's 2 streets at your lot. Now, for residential zone, you only need one side to have 10 feet setback, and then the other 3 you still can use 3 feet. Use 3 feet, even though this is a street. But if this is apartment zone and the same corner lot is an apartment zone, then both street you have to yield 10 feet setback, and then the rest is 5 feet setback. So this is one of the major difference. And for apartment zone, even though your land, you have a house 4 area go up to even the maximum, you still only have follow the 5 feet setback. In residential zone, there's no requirement about what type of landscape, or you can actually you can put concrete pavement in your setback. But for apartment zone, there's a regulation, there's a requirement for all the setback, you have to be landscaped. You cannot put, concrete. You cannot make the setback become concrete. And also your landscape, even you put grass, this is part of landscape, for setback for apartment zone. So there's a couple of different things affect about parking. For car parking, for residential zone, you can have your parking store in the setback. That means that you don't have a parking store right by the property line. Now, because again, like I say, because it's residential zone, it doesn't require you to have landscape in your setback. So you can put inside setback, side yard setback, you can put a parking, right? But for apartment zone, because they have requirement for landscape, so you cannot put your parking store in the setback. And another one now is talk about FAR, floor area ratio. Under residential, the Bill 79 or Ordinance 19-3, okay, for residential, now you can build up to FAR, floor area ratio is 0.6 to 0.7. What does it mean is if your land is 5,000 square feet, you can build up to 0.6, means 60% of your land. That means 3,000 square feet, or up to 0.7, which is 3,500 square feet. Now this involves about a setback. What is different is if you build up to 0.6 of your land, then you only need to have 5 feet setback in the two sides and the back. But if you go more than 0.6 and between 0.6 to 0.7, then you need to yield extra setback to 8 feet on the side and the back. Okay. Now this one in apartment zone, they do not have this, right? They don't have this setback, but apartment zone, they have different way of calculate floor area ratio, the FAR. The apartment zone, they have called A1, A2, and each one come with different calculation. Go by the floor area, your lot size, and then they come on number. Now for common, so very common size of A2 in town, in Honolulu, it's usually a lot of small apartment zone, about 5,000 square feet. Now, according to the LUO calculation, if 5,000 square feet property size, then the FAR for A2 zone account come out is about 4,200 something. Yeah, about 90%, 80 something percent of the FAR come out. If there's an A1 lot, then the area is much less, much smaller. Okay, and then now talk about height. Yeah. For residential zone, you can build up to 25 feet for flat land. If you have slope land, then you can go up to 30 feet for the building envelope, the height. Now for apartment zone, a lot of people come to ask me this question. Oh, my agent tell me, this land, the zone can build up to 100 feet, 150 feet. Can I build that high? Yes, if you're building apartment, that is a maximum how you can go. Now, but if you're building a house, family dwelling, okay, single family dwelling or detached family dwelling, you have to follow the residential. That means same 25 feet from flat land or 30 feet to the slope or for the slope land. Now, so this part will be the same. So only when you build apartment in apartment zone, then you can use the the high limit. Now, if you do house, then you follow the residential limit. And the next one we'll talk about is bathroom. This is interesting part is that people, do I have limitation on bathroom and bedroom? Now for residential, okay, under Bill 79, say Ordinance 19-3, so for bedroom, you have no limit, no constraint, no bedroom limited. However, for bathroom, it does. A bathroom, is limited to how big of your land. If your land is, up to certain area of your size, then they determine, a certain number. For example, if you have 5,000 square foot land, then you can have only up to 4.5 bathroom. Now, and this one doesn't have it in apartment zone. So if you have an apartment, it is apartment zone lot is 5,000 square feet, then you have no limit on how many bathroom you put. So in case you want to put two dwelling, right, or three, let's say 3 unit in apartment zone, right, townhouse. Now then each townhouse you can have 2 or 3 bathroom and come out and become total 9, right, in the small, even it's a small lot. However, in a residential zone that you have a constraint on this one, even though let's say we have some example, some land like R5 residential zone, they have like 4,000 square feet, 40,000 square feet, like 1 acre. However, they only allow total is 9.5 bathroom. So when they try to build several houses, like 3 or 4 houses, or 5 houses in the land, then they can only share is 9.5 bathroom. So for some people, when they want to buy a house, that is something they have to think twice before they want to buy develop this land. Okay. And the last part is park dedication. Now, when you build more than 2 houses or 2 units in one lot, then you need to pay for park dedication. And this part is same in residential zone and apartment zone. It will be the same. So you need to pay for park dedication. Now, a lot of owners, they only buy, they want to buy land to build that one house, single house. Now, that part, you should not be affected about, or worry about park dedication. But more likely, you will think about an FAR, about a bathroom, setback. Those things you might affect you. And again, so as an owner, you got to determine, or if you want to know more, okay, you are welcome to call us, contact us to, for further discussion or for further information. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.